Yep. So I'm going live because I got a call through a branding shoot that I did yesterday. So I figured I hadn't been live in a while. So I figured I would go live today. I'm updating this live YouTube video real quick though, hang on. And I also gotta check to see if the music too loud. I haven't been live in a minute. It's been a minute. Well, I just went live when I did that. I had to do some filming, but I wasn't really tapped in to the live, so it was a little different. But man, let me update all these settings real quick. That. Man, you know I think that music too loud. Hang on. Theme's a little loud because I ain't trying to talk that loud, so I won't be talking over the music all like that. You know, one of the things that I hate about Lightroom is it don't, when you do just to share the window, it don't have the other stuff, like it treats the sidebars as a separate window. I hate that. Don't matter for this because I'm just calling through, but still, yeah, I definitely hate that though. But yeah, so this was just a branding shoot that I did with a client yesterday, and so I'm just going through. So basically, you know, I have all the pictures that I take, and then I call through, and then I just send the client roughly, usually it's like somewhere between, depending on how many pictures I shoot, somewhere between 100 and 200 images to pick their images from, because a lot of times there's duplicate, especially for this type of shoot. So, you know, when I do fashion or branding with a guy, there's a lot of movement, you know what I'm saying? I'm having them do a lot of movement, walking, doing this, moving their hands, doing different stuff like that. So, you know, you end up getting a lot of pictures that are pretty similar. And the whole point of even doing that is to try to get an image that has the hands or whatever just in the right spot. So, you know, I have 807 photos in this shoot. Like, I'm not going to send a gallery with 800 photos for the client to choose from. So I pare them down to basically. So here's kind of like a little cheat code of what I do, because I don't really like social media. I typically will only include in the Cull down gallery images that I would be okay posting myself. So then that way, no matter what images they select and I edit, I would be cool posting those myself. So then that way I don't have to edit images for the client and then turn around and pick ones that I want to post with and then have to edit those. So I just only let the client see ones that I would be okay with editing. Now, typically I'm pretty conservative with what I pick, because I'm not too much of a stickler on what I post. Like I try to shoot clean on location, so typically most of the stuff I'm okay with, but that's usually how I do it, so that way I don't have to double up. So basically I just go through and I just star them a 1 if I want to deliver them. And sometimes it'd be a tough call. So this is where we started at. We was in a parking garage. Of course, security was on us within like 2 minutes. And I recorded some stuff to do a YouTube video. I don't know if I'm actually put a YouTube video together though. But they was on us. And I kid you not, like within 2 minutes, they was rolling up on their golf cart. So I was kind of moving quick to get these shots because he gave us a couple minutes just to get some shots. And we had just started, but I was just like, all right, well, let's just get a little something. I was just gonna start right here. This isn't even really where I wanted to shoot at in the parking garage. It just looked cool enough to where I wanted to start there, and then I was gonna move to some other spots. So I really didn't even like this spot to begin with, but it was what it was. So yeah, so I usually just try to go through. See, so like, you know, like something like this, right? Like those 2 shots right there. That's the better shot of the 2. You know, that was him getting there. That's kind of the shot. And I'm not saying I necessarily like this shot, but that's what I'm looking at when I go through here like this. Like, ain't no point in sending that one when there's this one, because this one doesn't really look finished. So I would more so do that one right there. Like this one, I wouldn't pick this one because his hands, they're obviously not fully in there, so that it just looks like a test shot and not a shot that's sitting in the paint. So I wouldn't let him pick that one. Same with this one, like the hands just not sitting in the paint the way I want. Guess we'll go with that one. That was cool. Yeah, I roll with that one. These is ones where I was having them walk. So a lot of these I'm not gonna deliver because they just don't look the way I would want them to look. Now, there could be an argument that, you know, I could let the client decide what they like, but I do feel like as photographers or videographers, whatever, like I feel like to a degree, you know, people do hire you for your expertise. So it's like, yeah, technically I could deliver all the 800 and just let him pick, but I also feel like that's kind of like information overload, man. Like if I give a client 800 images to pick through, like that's just too much, man. What up, SJ? Yeah, bro. So I tried out the Culling feature when it first came out, and it was trash in my opinion. But also, I feel like the Culling is only good for like the initial, like when you're trying to get rid of like misfocus and eyes and stuff like that. Like it's okay for that, but for like what I'm doing right here, like I don't think there's really any AI that will be able to do it, because like I'm just looking at things that I don't think AI will pick up on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna pick this one because I just don't feel like his hands is sitting in the paint the way I want them to. Like they don't feel settled, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna pick that one. I don't think AI would look at that and be like, oh yeah, the hands ain't settled. So we gonna flag that to not be used. Like AI not gonna do that. So like with these walking ones, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm only looking at ones where there's actual motion of the walk. Like these right here, like that's not gonna cut it. So boom, right there. See, so that's the difference. Like you got that one right there, and then boom, you got that right leg bent. That's always gonna look better. Like that right leg being bent is always gonna look better than that right there. So this is the reason why especially when you're shooting guys, you just have them walk, put your joint in servo, high speed, and you just rattle them off, which is really the only time that I shoot that way. I rarely shoot continuous because I don't be wanting to have 800 pictures that I got to go through. But you know, when you have a movement, it just makes sense. So I'm not gonna pick that one. Boom, I'm gonna pick that one because that's the better one of the two. Like if the leg ain't bent, I'm not picking it. And even that one, I don't really love. I might still put it in there. I'll be conservative on that one. I'm gonna put that one in there. See, not gonna do that one because again, that left hand ain't settled. So I don't want that in there because it don't look like it's sitting in the paint the way I want it to. So that's really what I look for when I decide if I want to include an image in the gallery that I'm gonna send to the client. Like, does it look like the image is settled? Like everything is sitting the way it's supposed to sit? Yeah, I'll rock with that one. We'll put that one in there. So here it's like similar. I'm always gonna go with the leg bent though, especially for guys, man, because guys typically like guys just don't necessarily love to just be having everything straight like that. Like guys just like to look more cool, and that it just, you know, between the two, like you're gonna take a shot like that every time over just standing straight like that every time. So we have him do it again. So this was a little bit far away. I was shooting with my R5, which I hardly ever shoot with. So I decided to shoot with it yesterday because I hadn't shot with that R5 in forever. So because I shot with the R5 and we got all those megapixels, like I'll still rock with this one because I can crop in easy and still work with it. Now, does my mouse show up on the thing? Yeah. So when I was setting this up, yeah, bro, I hadn't used that R5 in a grip, bro. So I was like, all right, let me knock the dust off that thing and use it. So initially when I was shooting this, I really was trying to have the subject frame right here, so that way this wouldn't be back there. And see, again, like this was just the first spot that I was shooting really to get them warmed up. I didn't even want to use this spot as an actual spot, but you know, again, security was on us within 2 minutes of like getting over here, and he only gave us a couple minutes to get some shots. So I didn't even want to shoot here, but I was like, you know, let's just get some stuff because we already here. I had the camera rolling for the YouTube video, so I was like, screw it, let's just grab something. So really, I don't like this because it's so busy behind him, and the whole point of this shoot was for what he's wearing. It was a brand that sent this to him, so this is so busy. I don't love it, but I'm gonna include it just because sometimes I try to do stuff that the client might still like. Even though I don't necessarily love it, I can still work with this. So we'll include that one in there. So that one work. I kind of like that, so we'll include it in. And sometimes when I do this, I'll call through once and then I'll call through again once I have it called down, just to make sure that I still like what I have in there. I don't know if I'm gonna do that for this one. I probably won't do that for this one, but yeah, I like that one. And this one, I specifically told him to keep the hood on because it shadowed out his face, which I was cool with because really the whole point of the shoot was to close anyway. So I thought like that would be kind of cool. It reminds me of Raiden from Mortal Kombat though. I kept thinking that when I was on location yesterday. I was like, man, all I can think about is Raiden when I see that hat on. Yeah, I'm gonna include that one too. Yeah, technically his hands ain't really settled, but for some reason I still like that one, so I'm gonna include it. rock with that one. I'm gonna actually probably go with this one over this one just because I feel like the face is a little bit more settled. Like this one almost is hitting like duck lip level, and I don't like that. So I just feel like the face is a little bit more settled than that one. So we're gonna go with that one. Now the reason why I'm gonna go with one of these is because again the shoot was about what he was wearing. So I feel like one of these has to be in there, and I'm thinking, yeah, I kind of like that one, which is a bit ironic because that left hand ain't really settled, but I do think that I like that one the best out of the three. So we're gonna go with that one. Yeah, we're gonna go with that one. Yeah, rock with that. Man, mid, it was man, we was down on Fremont. Like you probably, if you've been down on Fremont, you saw this parking garage. Because if you close to the Fremont Street Experience, it's the parking garage with the red rails. So I've actually shot down there a couple times, and I really didn't think security was going to be on it because I mean it was Friday at noon. Granted, it was Friday, but I didn't really think they was going to be on it because it was Fremont. But like I said, they was on us within like a minute of being out there, a minute, 2 minutes at the most. Homeboy pulled up on that cart. So we was up at the top of that parking garage, and I was really just seeing what the light was hitting on. I had my 8200, which once we go to the other location, you're gonna see where I was using that, and then I kind of stopped using it. But yeah, if I'd have known we was only gonna have a couple minutes, I wouldn't even have picked this spot because the spot itself was kind of boring. But I was just trying to see what the light was doing up there. So that was why I started there, and I figured if give him a chance to warm up, and I'm like, I don't really care about these shots because if they turn out cool, if not, that's okay because I didn't really care about that particular spot. But that's the way it go. I don't particularly love this one, but I'm gonna put it in just because he might. Yeah, that one works just because again thinking about the brand, and so this particular brand I can't remember what they're called, but what they're known for is these rhinestones. That's kind of like their signature thing. So I'm gonna rock with that one because that fits. Yeah, these ones I don't really love mainly because the light is just not good. And so even if I felt like the client would rock with that, I just don't think that light looks good. So I would not deliver those just off of the fact that the light doesn't look good. And also, he didn't really want to take too many shots without his glasses on. So if he didn't really want to take shots without the glasses and the light's not good, I'm not really going to include none of those. Like unless the shot just really works. But for the most part, we won't really need to see his eyes for these. Yeah, so see, I'll rock with that one. Yeah, see, so I still would rock with this one just because I like that the hands are in different spots. Whereas this one, the hands are together. And then because this one was closest to the cam, this one looked bigger. You know, I was shooting with a 35, so I was pretty close to him. So I'm always go with that over that every time. Yeah, see again, just light on the eyes just ain't working. So I'm not gonna roll with any of those. Yeah, bruh. You know, the thing is, man, like I do way more video these days than photos, so I really don't be doing too much photo stuff. And usually if I do photos, it's with man, SJ, are you SJ must be logged in under a different account because he don't got the wrench next to his name. He must be he in there under their personal account. Yeah, so usually when I do photos with branding, I don't really have that much because the photos is kind of secondary to the video, so I don't take nearly as many shots.
Tell him don't play with me, bitch, I got gang with me. Niggas want trade with me. I been up late, viewing tape for the sake of it. Heart do the race on stage, I got here to the damn great lakes. Let me slide in the ride like a raid, full tank in it. I been clearing space for me, I been feeling great lately. Everything I'm touching now, it been on way to me. Yeah. I'm just trying to take it in, say she done making friends, she through with it. Talking about she craving it.
Nah, I was just saying, like, I'm like, how come my man don't have a wrench next to his name, bro? I just realized that when I looked over there and I saw mid. Yeah, see, now between these two, see, I'm gonna pick that one because I just feel like, and sometimes I can't really explain it, but like, if you just look at his face, I just feel like the face looks more masculine there than it does right there. Like again, that just looks more duck lip level. So to me, that one just works. Like that one just has a harder feel to it. So I'm always pick the harder feel when it's a guy, unless the guy is he likes a more softer thing, which is cool. Like I ain't judging, but I know him, so I know he gonna want to look more masculine than soft. So even between those two, like there's similar shots, I still go with that one because I feel like the face has a harder look in that shot than it does in this shot. Even though it's a pretty similar shot, I rotated just a little bit, but I'm still gonna go with that one. Now I'm only gonna include this one because he might want it to send to a female or something. So I'll include that one just because it's a solid shot. I wouldn't care if I posted it if that's what he picked, but just because he might want to send it, but see, I wouldn't pick that one. And I'm probably for the most part pretty done with these because now they're gonna start. I mean, I'll roll with that one, but they're gonna start getting repetitive at this point. I might roll with that one too because I roll with that one too. But see, now we getting into the same type of stuff. So here I was going more detail, but I know I'm not gonna rock with these because I take better shots for the detail at a different spot. So I'm not gonna do nothing with those. I do kind of like this one. I don't know if I'm gonna roll with it though, because I don't like all the dead space back here. So tight up here. He looking in that direction. Like I needed more space over here. Now, mind you, definitely could use AI, but that's all right. We're not gonna do it. But I probably will. I'll rock with that one though. I doubt that I use any of these just because they're so repetitive, it just doesn't matter. Yeah, all these shots was in like 2 minutes, you know, because I wasn't trying to have dude come back. Like he technically didn't even have to give us no time. So I was trying to be super quick. Yeah, so we ain't gonna worry about those. Now, this spot right here, and like I said, I recorded some stuff for a YouTube video, but I ended up once the security guard was on us, it kind of threw me off from even wanting to do it because I just didn't feel like manning the camera, and so I do have some footage, but some of it wasn't framed very well. But I started using I started with an 8200 over here because I wanted to, since it was supposed to be cloudy. It's supposed to be cloudy all day, which is why I picked noon. It ended up not being cloudy at all yesterday. So I was like, all right, I want to be able to balance the ambient and then, you know, light in. Well, that was a great idea, except for that 8200. It wasn't enough because to get this ambient to be this way, I mean, I had a 1 to 5 stop ND, so I was all the way 5 stop on the ND, and I was having to shoot at I was at 200 of a second, I think, and then I want to say some of the shots, so I was shooting with my Sigma 35 1.4. Man, I think some of the shots, like I was pushing f4 just to be able to get the ambient down where I needed it. So trying to go through 5 stops of ND, shooting at f4, 200 of a second, and then just using the 80-200 with a dome diffuser. If I would have took the dome diffuser off, because that dome diffuser, that eats up like 2 stops of light. If I would have took that off, I would have had enough. But I was trying to keep the light somewhat soft. So I didn't really love the look because this looked good over here, perfectly exposed, but we were shooting in shade, so it just don't sit the way that I want it to sit. And it makes sense because there's no light source over here, so there isn't anything that's lighting him, so the image itself don't mesh. Because you see it's lit over here. Clearly you could tell we in shade, but then he's lit. So it's like, well, where is this light coming from? Now, the average person might not think about that, but that's what I'm thinking about. And that's the reason why I didn't like it. And that's why I ultimately just decided to go natty light, because I wanted to shoot right here because this building was nice, but I just wasn't digging like the flashy look. It just wasn't jiving with me. So that's what it was with no flash, just as a FYI. So that's what the flash was doing. That was no flash. And I was just holding it, you know what I'm saying? Like I just had the 8200 with a little handle on it and was just holding it up because I wasn't trying to be dealing with no light stance. So yeah, I really wasn't rocking with that. So I sat him on this low part right here. So boom, I'm still using the flash right here. And like I said, I just wasn't digging it because it just felt like I was using flash, and I ain't like that. So then once I went, yeah, because it was supposed to be windy, man. So ideally, what I was planning to do, so it's supposed to be cloudy for starters. So I was like, all right, bet we could shoot at noon. It's gonna be cloudy, so I know I'm gonna get some nice soft light. But I was like, that's gonna be too flat. So I was like, I'm gonna take a flash with a softbox, so that way I can still get some light. So that way it wasn't like super flat. And I also knew I was gonna need some light because the rhinestones. I'm like, if I shoot flat light, like them rhinestones ain't gonna pop the way they need to pop. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do that. Well, then I checked the weather. It's like, not only is it not going to be cloudy, but they was talking 20 mile per hour wind. So I'm like, all right, I'm not about to be trying to take no softbox down there. And then I was like, I might record something for YouTube. So I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna have my camera set up. Then I gotta deal with a light stand. I'm like, nah, we ain't doing all that. So because that wasn't really, I just didn't like that look. So then I switched to just natty. So this looked fine. It just, this is where the sky at right here. And so, I mean, you can see how deep the sky is when I expose for it the right way versus when I'm shooting natty. You almost wouldn't even be able to tell that was the sky if you didn't know. So that's why I didn't love, but I had to pick like what looked better for me. And I just wasn't liking the flashy look. It's just not what I wanted. So I was like, all right, bet, we're just gonna go with this. So I pretty much stayed natty light at this spot until we moved to a different spot. Then I was kind of going with the flash, which my homie here was carrying my 8200 and he dropped that joint. He dropped that joint. It didn't break nothing. The screen didn't break or nothing. I mean, he dropped it. It hit hard though. I was just like, I wasn't really tripping too much because I'm newer for the most part, but the newer 200 light, I don't think it had a quarter 20 on it just to put a handle on it. So it would have been too much effort to use the newer one. So I wasn't really tripping. But it still worked though. It's still good. It did, man. I ain't gonna lie. It did. You wouldn't have been able to tell though the way I was cool about it. But also, I think too, I use the same 8200. So I have 3 8200s, but I only use the one. I rarely use more than that. And so it's the one that's kind of been beat up over the years anyway. So I really wasn't tripping about it too much, especially considering I don't really shoot flash all like that anyway. It's the same. Now that I think about it, it's the same 8200 that fell in the water. Last year or couple years ago, it's the same 8200 that fell in the water, man. So it's been battle tested, bro. Been in the water, shit hit the concrete, like, yeah, that joint durable. I already gave you that energy, bro. You and SJ already got that energy. I'm already down 2 light stands because of y'all. Now I'll give SJ. Actually, I give both of y'all a pass. Because SJ, my man, was fighting that win hard. I give both of y'all a pass. But I might have to start. I might have to start taking a deposit for y'all to use my light stands, man. So I want to say, scratch Criminalville. I know that's right, bro. So I want to say right here, I was basically coaching him on just moving. There's a lot of shots doing the same thing. I don't even know if I was truly shooting because I wanted to use these, or if I was just shooting just to. Yeah, I know, bro. That's why I'm saying I give you a pass, bro. Cause yeah, you know what it was. So I'm gonna definitely give you a pass. That was out of your control. Yeah, I don't really love these because he ain't sitting up straight enough for me, and I don't really like when people be sitting and they kind of like, your head slouch down into your shoulders. I'm a rock with this one though, but I don't really love it, but I'm a rock with it though. Also, I don't really love this angle, but I switched to a different angle at some point. And like I said, I want to say I think I was just getting him to understand, just to keep moving with his hands and with his legs, just to switch it up to have that movement. I'm gonna roll with that one. I'm gonna roll with that one too, even though I don't love the foot. That potentially could be something I would AI. I don't love the angle of the foot, but I'm gonna roll with it. Yeah, that one's speaking to me, so I'm gonna pick that one. I'm gonna rock with that one. I like that one for whatever reason. Yeah, definitely rock with that one. Man, I know it's crazy, but I like that one over this one. So we gonna unselect that one, roll with that one. That one just sit a little better for me. Roll with that one. Hey Mid, did you if you still on here, did you look into that A75? We'll roll with that one since I don't have very many of them looking at the cam. That one works. Again, I'm only including this one because he might want to send that to a little female or something. So I'll throw that one in there for that reason. Probably the same with that one too, just because I wouldn't necessarily use it, but he might want to rock with it. Then I moved over here to the pole because I wanted to be able to have him lit with the sun. So specifically told him to throw them shades on so I can have him looking in the direction of the sun. Like these are okay, but I honestly, I mean, I had them on the pole, but I really don't. I don't love the pole in this shot. Now, this would be easy to get rid of in post, which is why I think I was okay still shooting there. But I mean, even when I was shooting, I was just like, yeah, I don't necessarily love it, but I was like, let's roll with it anyway. So I'm a rock with that one right there. Yeah, now see, this is sometimes, you know, you miss stuff on location. I don't like the hand. So usually, like, and it's kind of tough because sometimes things feel natural, but the hand just looked too flat. Like I would have, if I'd have been paying more attention on location, or, I mean, I was shooting pretty quick, but yeah, if I'd have really saw this on location, I'd have just been like, yeah, just loosen up their fingers a little bit, but it's all good. Yeah, so see, between the two, I mean, that looked way better than that. And that's the reason why, like, when you shoot this type of stuff, like, you shooting continuous, because yeah, this shot cool, that shot way better though. Like, if you had to pick one or the other, like, that one's gonna look better over that one every time. So we're gonna rock with that one. So we gotta roll with one of these or a couple. So even though this one technically is not settled, I like the way that one looked. So I'm gonna roll with that one because I like the way that one looked. I actually prefer kind of being like mid motion on that versus some of the other ones. So we're gonna roll with that one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna roll with that one too. For whatever reason, I want to pick two, so I'll roll with that one. All right, so he's going for the phone. So none of these really work for me. Like those two is okay, but like this one's cool. Actually, I could probably rock with that one. I could probably rock with that one. But the rest of them, like I would never deliver that one. Like too much leaving open to the imagination of what the hell going on. Yeah, I can rock with that one. Yeah, I'll rock with that one as well. So then we moved to the middle of the street. Oh no, we ain't at the middle of the street yet. I just started shooting horizontal. Just to bring a little bit more of the location into the shot. So this is the garage that we was in. So you've been down on Fremont, you've seen this garage because it's literally right. It's like a block away from that Fremont street experience. So if you ever be down at Fremont, you done seen that garage right there. I'm gonna rock with that one. This one would have been stronger if this hand was down a little bit lower, but hindsight is always 2020. I like that one for some reason, so I'm gonna roll with it. I be trying not to overthink it, you know what I'm saying? Like usually if I look at it and I like it, I start. If I don't, I move on. If I'm kind of conflicted, I give it like 10 seconds and then I just make a call. It's like either I'm gonna roll with it or I'm gonna move on. So it's like if I know I want to have one zipping, which yeah, those aren't really hitting enough for me, so I'm gonna move on. And of course, there's kind of only so much that that a man can do. He decided to only shoot with the one outfit. Originally, we were supposed to have been doing two, but he decided to only shoot with the one. I actually wish he would have brought the other one because it was black, so it would have contrasted good down here, but it was what it was. Yeah, mid. So when the reason why I picked this spot is because I was trying to find something that had like a somewhat of a downtown feel, and Vegas don't really have no downtown. Like downtown Fremont is not like your typical downtown of most cities where you got like the office buildings and all that. Like we don't really have no spot that really feels like that. There's a couple spots in like Summerlin that kind of had that feel, but Summerlin far. So yeah, I was on Google Maps and I picked this spot just because it kind of had that feel. Not as much as I would have wanted, but it was what it was. I also was gonna go to the hood too because I was gonna get more like a grimy, gritty feel to it. But that was just gonna take too much time to try to find a spot in the hood that looked the way I wanted it to look. So I was like, yeah, we'll just go down here to Fremont because it's easy. Yeah, that one sit with me. probably would have rocked with this one if the left hand was all the way in the pocket, but since it's not. I kind of want to go with this one. I don't like the right hand, but I'm gonna roll with it. Now, I remember when I shot these, I did not like the way these look because the pole was fine here because it wasn't overly prominent, but as soon as I went vertical full body, I hated that pole. I still took some shots anyway, just because I was like, sometimes I don't be liking stuff on location, but then I get back on the computer and it'd be cool. So sometimes I'll still shoot through it because it's 15 seconds. And I'll do it just to look at it on the computer. Maybe there's something that I like, or maybe I can edit it in a way that I would like it better. But when I was taking these, I was just like, yeah, I wasn't really feeling that pole, because that pole just seems unnecessary for the frame. Like, I could have moved him to his left and had him more in the middle, and that probably would have made more sense. Now, I know I said I typically don't like when their legs are straight, but this one worked for me, so I'm a roll with that one, because I don't like this one because the foot is more at an angle on that post, because it's obviously not behind them. So I don't love that. So I'm gonna go with the straight leg, just because I think this actually looks more feminine than having the leg straight. So yeah, that worked right there. I do like that one. I'm gonna roll with that one. So these are cool. The only real issue with these is that you can't really see the rhinestones, and again, that's really what this brand is known for. So these don't necessarily work for that. However, I'm gonna include some of them just for the client. So see, again, like, here's where there's a benefit in just shooting, having multiple shots, because these all three are similar. That's the strongest one. And being able to have the right hand where it's at is what makes that one work. Like this one, there's no right hand. I don't like that. This one, the right hand is just not settled. His body isn't settled, so I don't like that one. That one I like. So that's where there's definitely benefit in shooting continuous when you're doing this sort of thing. I don't typically shoot that way, but I do for this. Yeah, I'm stuck between these two because I kind of because I'm not sure, I'm just going to include them both and keep it moving. I'm not going to do a ton of these because I don't really love them anyway. So maybe do just one or two more. Yeah, so that one worked. I think that one is similar. Is that one similar? Okay, so there's a little bit of a difference, so I rock with that one. All right, see, we got the head down right there, so I roll with that one. I'm gonna roll with that one. Yeah, man, it's crazy because I mean I'm only halfway through these shots. It's like, man, this is why I don't like doing photos. I don't be feeling like going through all these like this. Granted, like I said, I don't have to. I could have just uploaded all 800 and let the client do this, but I try to make it easier for them for starters. But then also sometimes stuff don't, like when you in between stuff and shots ain't settled, it ain't gonna look like your best work. So I wouldn't even want to put that out there to the client. So for some reason that won't work, so I'm gonna roll with it and probably not mess with any of those. So here I was the whole thing here was just trying to get the detail of the rhinestones.
Tell him don't play with me, bitch, I got gang with me. Niggas want trade with me. I been up late, viewing tape for the sake of it. Heart do the race on stage, I got here to the damn Great Lakes. Let me slide in the ride like a raid, full tank in it. I been clearing space for me, I been feeling great lately. Everything I'm touching now, been on way to me. Yeah. I'm just trying to take it in, say she done making friends, she through with it. Talking about she craving it, she just wanna take it in. Okay, she bad, but I think we better stay in.
I go with that one. I go vertical over here.
Niggas know I'm taking him. They hate to see me score again. I've been doing war within. I just want the glory, friend. See that expression on your face is so valid to me.
Gonna roll with that one right there.
Heavy on that chill shit. I've been up recording, know the money tree, leaves falling. I don't know what boredom is. Stealth when I slide through the town with who I build with, who I run the field with. I'm staying safe and treacherous.
These are all pretty similar. So probably
what I'm doing now, nobody can.
I'm actually gonna go with that one because I don't like being able to see his hands in the jacket on those. So
I've been running plays on the way, baby, oh me. But it all the time you late. I be on the go and it shows no slowing me down. Bitch, I got gang with me. Niggas want trade with me. I be on job, I be race on stage. I be got paid on the plane. I've been feeling great lately. Everything I'm touching now, been on way to me. No slow down.
Man, I do feel like I want some from this angle. Man, you know, usually I'll be having my whiskey when I'm doing this, but I can't drink for the next 3 months. So, gotta just do water, man. Yeah, so I rock with that one. I roll with that one just because, you know, that's like a YN pose these days. My guy on the younger side of the scale. So I rock with that one. I feel like I want one more though. Yeah, I think that one worked. All right, so now we moved into the street. So actually I was originally gonna go back over here because there was some trees back over there, but I had all my stuff and I didn't feel like moving it down there, so I was like, screw it, we'll just do it right here. Which, I mean, the spot worked. And then I actually was going to shoot the other way because the other way is going facing back towards the strip. So the strap would have been in the shot, stuff like that. But then he would have been backlit. So, you know, I'm always going to prioritize the light. So this works still. I was just going to shoot the other way just because there was just more elements of the strip that would have been in the background that would have kind of gave more context as to where it was at. But, you know, again, the light is the priority. Yeah, I rock with that one. I actually like that one too. This truck blew his horn at us like we was standing at, well, we are in the middle of the street, but he honked his horn like we was like in the lanes. Like, bruh, you must not be a local, or you are very safe local. Yeah, and I think these I'm just gonna go through quick, and if it resonate with me when I first look at it, I'm just gonna pick it because these are gonna be so similar. So I would rather give him the option of picking what he likes. I probably would have been okay with this shot if the truck wasn't there. Because, you know, he's pretty small in the frame, so this just takes up so much of it. Your eyes just go there. But I like the leg position right there, but I'm not gonna hit that one because I know he walks closer to the frame. So see, that one works. I roll with that one. That one works. So, you know, one of the I would loosely say struggles was, especially with young folks, like it's kind of hard to get them to walk, like have a powerful walk, because young folks be wanting to just like have like this casual stroll where they barely picking their feet up. So typically, like when you shoot males, like you want them to have a nice, strong, very defined walk, and it's definitely hard to get young folks to walk like that because that's just not the way they walk. So had he been doing that, there probably would have been more shots where the leg would have been bent in a better way. But it's definitely not the end of the world. That one works. I don't love that one, but I'm a 1-star anyway, just for the hell of it. Same with that one. Yeah, so I was trying to get him to like really lean into the cam, and he wasn't leaning into it as much as what I was wanting him to do. But it also was one of those things where it was just like I didn't care enough about the shot to keep trying to finesse it. 12 driving by, didn't even see that, and of course, I had my heat on me, and we in the middle of the street. I'm surprised he ain't say something, but I guess only hotel security really care. Police don't. Security be on it. I rock with that one just because I gotta pick a couple, at least 2 from this little section here. So with these, I wasn't really concerned about his face being in shadow because again, like the point of the shoot was really for the outfit. So I was like, it's okay that there's some shots where, his face ain't lit because, the focus doesn't always have to be his face. So this is one where I'm pretty sure I told him, don't worry about the hood because like the hood dropped and he was trying to put it back. And I was like, nah, just embrace the hood because, we could have some shots where we can't really see your face all like that. It's all good. Still remind me of Raiden though. Yeah, I do shoot with off-camera flash, and I did have an 8200 that I was hand holding. I'll show you. Well, you know what? I'll do a video right now. Hold up. I'll show you a video right now of how I was holding that. I wasn't shooting flash there, but I will show how I was holding it when I was shooting with the flash. Yeah, so when I was shooting with the flash, I just had a hand. I was just holding it like that and was just rocking it that way. So this is how I was doing it with them shots when I was like, yeah, it just looked too flashy. And I ain't gonna lie, but I was out there struggling, man, trying to hold that heavy R5 with this in one hand and the daggone flash in the other one. Like, yeah, but yeah, that's how I did that. When we was out in the street, I was just going natural light out there. So
boy, you know that I been hit it. Seen a chance and then I ran with it. Took it and I ran with it. Say life will beat your man to sin with it. You a black boy, nigga. Man, she told you that you not that nigga. Shawty had it right, she might say tonight. Don't ask me, you better ask your nigga. She might put it down like the top bag. She might do it all, I can't stop that. Yeah. She gon' put it.
Man, where my shared screen ain't working. I'm using Safari, and StreamYard does not like Safari.
All my life. They know I can't lie, yeah, I'm really on a vibe. Pass it off the bad boy like a mic.
Your browser blocked the screen. Well, don't do that.
She might do it all, I can't stop that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so it's definitely nice having having somebody down there to help, but usually that's not going to be the case because I usually shoot during regular business hours, so it's pretty rare for me to have somebody down there. And I mean, it's got to be a shoot worthwhile to bring my assistant in, which I do sometimes, but I mean, for what I pay her, it's got to be a pretty profitable shoot for me to bring her in. All right, so this is the last spot that we shot at. So it was like this little alleyway downtown on Fremont. So I originally started with shooting with a flash. I was doing the same thing over here, hand holding. The main reason why I stopped was because the flash, it was too much actually, because like I still had to expose for the alleyway because I didn't want it to be like super dark. So even having the 8200 on 128 power, like it still was kind of too much, especially when I was close to him. So it started to become more of a hassle. So I bailed on it. And then also, which I'll show real quick, because there's a shot that's really gonna show why if I do flash, I do prefer having it on a light stand versus holding it. So in these shots right here, this is just natty. This is natty, the sun, So I'm always finding my natural light source. So I knew where the sun was at. So I'm like, okay, I positioned it in a way to where I can light them with the sun, which worked. And I got nice shadow over here, which is perfect. Shadow is key. You know what I'm saying? We need that shadow. Perfect. So those look great. But then I was like, all right, let me just see if I pop a bit of flash. Mind you, I had that joint at 128 power, so it couldn't go any lower. Once I brought that in, you're going to be able to see the difference once I bring that joint in. Unless I didn't keep any of them. I'm pretty sure I did though. So again, like these, having the shadow is cool. Once I bring that flash in, all right, so here we go. So once I bring that flash in, just look at the difference of flash, no flash. Like just everything is so flat, right? Because obviously the flash, it wasn't on cam, but it was only slightly off axis. So not quite on camera flash, but not far from it. So we lose all that shadow. So now everything is flat, and it's like, well, what's the point of that? If I had a light stand, if I had the flash on light stand, I would most likely put it in front of them or slightly to the left of them. That way I'm still getting shadow on this side. So I'm short lighting. Right now I'm broad lighting him. And he's got a round face. So broad light, number one, ain't really gonna work all that well. But then also it just makes everything flat. It just doesn't look as good. In comparison to having the shadow, you just got a lot more texture. So that just makes more sense. And then also, the flash is lighting up the background too. Mind you, that joint was at 128, so I couldn't turn it down anymore, and I couldn't back it up because I'm holding it with my hand, so I can only hold it back so far. So I only did a few of those shots, and then I was like, nah, we just gonna go natty, which was fine because you had the sun coming in that was lighting them. It was in an alleyway, so most of it was in shade, so it really wasn't a problem. I was just experimenting just to see. Yeah, I was just experimenting just to see. Yeah, I don't know if I like any of these. I didn't love the angle. I'm not a big fan of just like the straight on. So I probably will not. And also, I want to say, like, I was just kind of getting a feel for what the light was like when I was taking those shots. So I don't really like the straight on. So mainly because, I mean, if I'm being honest, yeah, Maryland, it's AnthonyToglife. I haven't posted to Instagram in a while though. But this just looks a little bit more, self-ownish to me. So, somebody hire me, this just doesn't really fit the aesthetic of what it should look like for somebody hiring you. So it's just, it's just flat. Like, I think if I really wanted this straight on, I would have pulled them off. So that way there was some more separation. So that way we got that background, but he's not on it. It's not terrible. And probably with some editing, I mean, I could make it pop a little bit more, but it just feels a little flat. And I don't really love that. So that one works. For some reason that one works. It's my Maryland, it's my saying, it's the name of my YouTube channel, AnthonyToglife. Yeah, I like that one. For some reason, I kind of like that one. I keep it in. See, now I ain't gonna lie. This is how I get. I'm an hour in right now. I'm over this, so I ain't gonna lie. Once I get to the end, I just be like, yeah, I'll add it, because I'm already overdoing this. So I don't be as selective towards the end as I am in the beginning, because an hour is long enough for me to be sitting here going through images like this. I do not really enjoy this part. Now, strategically, I did push him far to the right because I was trying to have more texture of this alley. I don't know that I love it now that I'm sitting at the computer, because this almost feels unnecessary in looking at it. However, it does put him on the third, which is solid. Like, it puts his face on the third line. So it actually still works compositionally, but when I'm looking at it, I'm kind of struggling with it. But now that I'm saying that out loud, I think I do still kind of like it too, though. Yeah, man. Once I get, usually, like, if I wasn't live, I would have already started doing that. I only made it this far before I got fatigued, just because I'm live and I'm talking at the same time. But usually when I'm just sitting at my desk, this be the last thing I want to do, is to be calling through some images, bro. I don't be having no desire. That's why, like I said, I don't be trying to take a lot of pictures on location because I don't be trying to come back and be having to sort through 800 images. Like I'd rather it be like 200 or 300 that I gotta go through. That just works out better for me. So yeah, lighting wise, I really dug this spot, this location, because like I said, so there's a little alleyway, so there was big tall buildings over here. So that's where this shadow line comes from. So I like having the light, that was coming in. The sun was up there just peeking over the building. So it put some nice light on him. You know what I'm saying? We got some shadow. So you got shadow, highlight, you got all, just a lot of texture. Like I feel like compositionally this shot works really, really good. In my humble opinion. You can see where it all goes away when that flash goes in. So I will not be including a single one of those shots because I think you lose everything that makes that location special is lost with that flash. So we will not be including any of those. Yeah, so here's a real good example how you can see the difference with the flash versus without the flash. Like the flash just kills everything that would make that location what it is. So this probably wouldn't be bad as a black and white though. Yeah, I mean as a black and white it could work, and then just bring the shadows down, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I could technically still low-key kind of work with it from an editing perspective, but yeah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. Yeah, I think I was still using the flash on these, and then I got rid of it here. So yeah, all of these is no bueno for me, because they're not bad. And I mean I did like shooting the wide just to the add more of the environment in, but lighting going Trump. So this is another situation where it's just like, yeah, the full body just didn't quite work for me, because it felt like, I feel like sometimes if you're gonna go full body with fashion, like you gotta go exaggerative full body. So you shooting with like an ultra wide angle and getting really close and exaggerating the features. I feel like that's when that really works. When you just shooting with even a 35, everything just feels so flat. Like nothing pops. And I mean, the right background or lighting can help, but in this particular situation, like it's just not doing it. Posing is definitely key. However, posing, I mean, if an image looks flat, posing isn't likely going to change that. Like, I mean, if I got flat lighting, kind of no matter how I pose them, it's still going to look flat. If I pose them and then, the background is distracting, the pose isn't necessarily going to make the background look less distracting. But yeah, I mean, obviously the pose here is not, the pose is pretty much non-existent. But also when I was shooting this, I wasn't digging it when I was shooting this. So that's why I rattled off some shots real quick, and then we moved because I wasn't even feeling it on location, and it was, the light was just too flat. So I think I actually was shooting with a flash here, but that 200 wasn't bright. It wasn't enough power because I was trying to bring down, like, this was super bright right here. So I was trying to bring down that exposure in cam. So that little 200 was fighting for its life, and I was pretty far away from it too, obviously. So trash cans are always interesting. I actually was trying to have him sit on top of this trash can, but his young ass talking about my knees is bad, I can't get up there. I'm like, bro, you too young to be talking like that. Because that was really what I wanted, was to be sitting on there. But I wanted the trash cans just for the texture piece, because I mean, they're all pretty graffitied up, but this one was really graffitied up. And then I like the blue. Like, the blue was like a nice color contrast. So that was really where I was going with it. But since he couldn't get up there, I was like, okay, well, I still want to try to have the texture of these trash cans, but it didn't quite work. And then I really wanted them in between these two, but right before we start shooting here, a homeless dude came and pissed over there. So I wasn't about to put my man in some fresh piss. Homeless dude was really nice. He was really nice though. He was very apologetic, and I'm like, bro, if you gotta pee, you gotta pee, man. Don't apologize for having to do what you gotta do, dog. So he was super nice, but yeah, I wasn't gonna put my man over there in the fresh pee. So I just rolled with this spot instead. But it didn't necessarily hit the way that I was wanting it to hit. And by this point, I mean, we was almost 2 hours into the shoot, and I knew we kind of had what we wanted, so I wasn't really trying to be super into kind of getting something that works. So I was just kind of like, well, let's just see what it do. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. Yeah, I appreciate that, Marilyn. I'll give you a follow back when I go in there. I need to get back to posting on Instagram, but also, man, I really don't. I don't really do like true portrait stuff. I mean, I'm pretty much corporate commercial, branding, marketing. So I mean, I do a lot of headshots and just branding type stuff. So I don't really do a ton of portrait stuff, which is why I really haven't posted to that account in a while, because I just don't really shoot regular portrait, and nobody really cares about seeing headshots and stuff like that unless that's what my account always was, and that's what the following like. But I didn't build Toglife off of commercial stuff, so that is why I haven't really posted much over there lately. What up, Greg? Big Greg in the building. So that was pretty much the end of the shoot, and then he kind of wanted he wanted a profile picture. Now, what was interesting about this was, and this is where it's like, sometimes, man, all you gotta do is turn around. So I was, I would say I was low key struggling with this shot. I guess I wasn't technically struggling, but what I was trying to do was, well, not trying. What I was doing, and eventually I get it, the pictures get here. I like to balance the ambient. Like, if I got flash, the one thing I don't want to see is a blown out sky. I just find that to not be necessary. If you have a flash that you could use, like, there should be some blue in the sky. If it's blue, it should be blue. So I was like, okay, and I had the flash, I'm hand holding it the same way, but I'm like, yeah, I want that sky to be blue. Now, the problem, as you're going to be able to see here, is that when you expose to get the sky to be blue, you lose everything that's in shadow in your scene becomes extremely dark. So because this is such a high dynamic scene to where you got the bright sky, this is in shadow because the sun is kind of up coming down this way. So this is in shadow. Then you got the street. This is just too dark. So then now when I'm trying to light him, which again, my speed light was at full power, or that 8200 was at full power. Because at this point, my ND's at 5 stop. And I mean, I'm setting to where I can get this down where it needs to be. Now it just looks like I'm using flash because, the light source of the scene's right here, boom, boom, boom. So what I decided to do was just turn the other way because there wasn't any significance in me shooting it this way. This was just the way that I started shooting it. So I was like, I turned and looked over my shoulder because I was in front of him. I turned and looked over my shoulder. Back behind me was basically the Fremont Street experience. So I was like, well, let's go that way. Let's just turn this way since I don't really care about this background. Let's turn that way. And now, by default, I'm getting everything that I'm trying to do because now he's being lit by the sun. And so this all kind of takes care of itself because now I'm not having to expose for the bright sky because the sky is not that bright. When you shoot into the sun, obviously the sky is super bright around where the sun is at. And then as you rotate around, you just get the nice, rich, deep blue color. So just in turning around, now I don't need my flash anymore because he's being lit by the sun. And then boom, I got that's lit back there. So it works. And I'm like, of course, what I'm saying, in post, which also could have did this the other way as well, but this just is more balanced now in post. I can just bring the shadows up. Obviously, I can just mask the background. But I mean, you can see that, like, if I wanted to bring that background up, I could do that. Whereas in these other ones, when it's the other way, it's the same, but number one, like, there's just no color in the sky because the sun's right there. So you shoot into where the sun is at, it's just going to be white by default because there really isn't any color because the sun is bright. So even here, it's like if I could bring up the shadows, sure, but I still don't really get the blue color that I would have wanted. So it just didn't work. Now I was putting way too much thought into this because he was just like, I just want a side profile for a profile pic, and I was over there like trying to make it perfect. So yeah, once I turned him around, then that just worked better. And then eventually I kind of pulled back a little bit and went wider. So that way he had some more flexibility to kind of crop it however he would want to crop it based off of what he was trying to do. So sometimes all it is just turning and seeing what works just by turning and shooting in the opposite direction, or moving yourself and just seeing where you get the shot that you want. So I'll probably be pretty loose on selecting these just because it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So yeah, I ended up, so out of 807, I ended up with 116 selected shots. And in my opinion, I feel like that's really all you need. Like, just give them the best of the best. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to give 800 if 116 best of the best. That's all they need to see. They don't really need to see all the other stuff. They get enough variety to pick whatever they need to pick. Usually, branding sessions are a little bit different. Like, it feels like a portrait session. I think nowadays they get 5, and then they can pay for more if they want. So if you were just gonna pick your top 5, like you don't need 800. Like that's just, you get analysis paralysis, man. You can't pick from all that. So I just make it easier for you. Instead of having 800 that you got to pick from, I give you 100 that you got to pick from. Just makes it easier, and you ain't missing nothing, because the ones that I don't include, you got a shot that's similar. Maybe they would have liked a different one, but if you didn't even know it existed, you ain't missing nothing. So that's pretty much how I did that. So yeah, I appreciate you tuning in, man. I'm hungry. It's 11:15, so I'm gonna go make something to eat, and then I got another shoot that I gotta do a little bit later. So yeah, I appreciate you tuning in. I might do these more often. I contemplated like doing these for video, but it's tough doing it for video, because especially like if I'm like editing a video, it's hard to edit a video and try to talk to y'all. And then if I just have the audio from doing the video, like, man, if you edit video, you know how repetitive it gets when you just playing the same part over and over. It's just the same music over and over. So it's tough. Like SJ, I remember you used to get online, used to go live to edit videos. That was a while ago at this point, though, man. That might even have been before I moved to Vegas. I can't remember when you last did that. I know you used to do that. Like every week, you would go live and edit your video portraits. And yeah, you stopped doing that. But yeah, Marilyn, I feel the same way. I think quality over quantity is better, and I think especially when I'm delivering stuff to a client, like I just want them to be able to see them at their best too, because people be critical, especially like women. Like women be real critical of themselves. So if I see something that I'm like, I bet she wouldn't like the way she looked right there, I just don't include it, because I don't even want a client looking at stuff that they start thinking like, man, I don't like the way I look, because then they just fixate on that, you know what I'm saying? And now they're not really paying attention to all the pictures that they look good. They just worried about the one that look bad. So yeah, SJ, you should get back to it, because I mean, you've been consistent on posting, so I know you're still doing your video portraits. So you should get back to it, because I mean, you're sitting at the desk anyway. So I do think I'm gonna start going live more, just for stuff that I'm already doing. I mean, if I'm already sitting at the desk anyway, and I mean, I'm just using my phone for the video and the audio, so there ain't even no setup. It's like, man, why not? Now what I need to do is get some pictures to put in these frames. These frames been up for 2.5 years with no pictures. That takes too much effort to figure out what I would want to put in there. So I put them up when I bought them. I ain't put no pictures in there since, though. So anyway, that's that. I appreciate y'all tuning in. So to the next one, man. Have a real good weekend. Safe. Stay warm if you're on the other side of the country where it's cold. But yeah, I'll catch y'all later though.